Hello all and welcome to another metal casting video. Today I'm going to be making something for Redneck Stacker. He actually some time ago, sent me that very cool silver Stormbreaker axe from the Avengers movie. And I promised him to make him a copper hammer. Now I asked him what kind of hammer would you like, how big, do you want just the head in copper and the handle in wood. He said no, just make the whole thing copper and make it a simple bench hammer. So it's going to be one of these. Should be simple enough, but I'm pretty confident that I can make it this project a lot more complicated. So I'm gonna need some bigger flasks for this because tiny, not gonna fit. These ones I like using a lot, but again, not gonna fit. So luckily I have my bigger flasks that still have the extra bits in there from when I made the sand rammer and the strike. These two. So this should be good. I'm gonna have to ram up a lot of sand. Before we do that, let's set up the furnace and melt some copper. I got a pile of copper set up here. This is all copper that has tin and crap on it. This is all clean stuff, and this really big bar here is probably what I'm going to start with, or tube actually, it's not a bar. I actually got this from a customer during work. It was in their utility closet. I said, hey, that's a nice pipe you got there. Oh, do you want it? Yes, sure, please give me. So, and some of this stuff came from, I don't know, dumpsters and whatnot. So all nice, clean. Some of it's pretty shiny even, so should be good quality copper there. Okay, got everything set up. For this I will be using a new crucible. This is one that I've now used I think 3 times. That will be used for brass in the future. New crucible, nice and shiny still. So this I will use for copper. And I'll start with some of the easier parts. I'll just snip these at the correct length. I also found that I have a tiny bit of borax. And I actually got a graphite stirring rod at some point, so might use that as well if needed. There. Now this is one thing though, if you're melting copper pipes, either big or small, and you snip them like this, make sure that the ends are not closed, because if air gets trapped in there, that might cause a explosion, because the air in there expands a lot and the copper does not, so there's a lot of pressure buildup, and that might be nasty. So okay, filled up nicely. Fit a couple of bigger pipes around the smaller pipes. Also made sure that it's not crammed in there too tightly, because this will expand when it heats up, and if it's all in there really tight, it might crack the crucible. So I can always add more later. That goes in there. Okay, this will take some time before it's all molten. Let's start by ramming up the mold. While that is heating up, I'm gonna have to go through my green sand here and sift it down until it's a fine powder, and then see if I need to add a bit of water to make it a good consistency, because I think this is pretty dry. There, I think this should be enough. I added a little bit of water and the consistency looks pretty good. Well, there we go then. Not that much detail in this hammer, so basically just going to wing it. Looks like I'm gonna need to sift some more sand later. There, I think I dug out a decent parting line. Now let's see if I can get this thing out. Well, that broke off a bit, but let's see if I can clean that up. Right, that looks good. Now carefully place this back in here and then do the other half. I'm gonna sift a bit more sand for the other half. This is slightly more wet, but it should work. I forgot how much sand you can compress in such a tiny little space. Right, that looks good. Alright, let's see how this came out. Before I open this though, let's have a look at how the copper is doing. Okay, let's see how far this is going. Oh, nice and shiny. This will start melting soon. I also snipped a couple more pieces in the meantime. Right, let's get back to the mold. That actually came out pretty good. Now for sprue and runners and feeders if necessary. What would be best? Feeding from here or feeding from here? And you can always shorten the handle a bit if there's a mess up, so. Then I know where to place the sprue. For vents I'm just going to scratch. But that doesn't need too much. Alright. That should be good. Slight change of plan. I'm going to put this back. First add a bit of just to make sure. Put this back and ram up the other side again because that broke off quite a bit actually. There. New sand is slightly wetter, so should stick better. Before I open this again, let's have another look at the copper. Okay, it has reached maximum temperature now for a couple of minutes. Let's have a look, see. Nice and orange. See if I can gently No, there's see the temperature difference when I touch it. No real, it's all stuck in there. So that's what I said earlier. It does expand and gets stuck in there. Oh well, let's give this some more minutes. Well, that is almost ready to go. Let's have a look here. So now I'm gonna have to do the switcheroo. Okay, so I carefully switched everything around, and now let's see if we can get the hammer out in a decent way. And let's first get rid of this here, because that's supposed to be just where the metal flows in. Get these scratch vents in here as well. Well, close. I'm gonna call that okay. See if I can get a bit of the loose sand out. Right, let's get this thing closed and clamped up and pour some copper. There. Be the pouring offset pouring basin. That'll flow into the sprue and then into the part. That looks all molten in there. Let's add some more. Probably solidifying because I'm adding these pieces. These are cold, of course. There should be enough, I guess. Oh, wow, sinking in nicely. Well, let's wait until these have molten and add the rest. I have a nice full crucible, and I'm going to give it another, I don't know, 3-4 minutes to make sure everything is molten, because I just put the last piece in. Got my mold set up on a slightly elevated spot, easier for pouring. Got a ingot mold that I heated up off camera. Let me set you up and get ready to pour. I'm guessing it's full. and I have quite a bit solidified in here. Wow. Ingot mold is solid. This is taking some time. Keep the phone away a bit because I don't want it to get overheated and stop filming. Alright, let me put the crucible back in the furnace and have this cool down gradually. Nice dark spot on the sand. Swim, ingot, swim. There. Forgot how heavy copper is when it's turned into ingots. Nice ripple pattern this got. Obviously I'm not going to be cleaning this thing up because this is just for remelting purposes. Gonna be a lot easier than having all kinds of copper pipe. Probably will use this to make aluminium bronze or tin bronze in the future. So I turned everything off. I'm not going to be melting anything else today. Let's get the copper hammer out of the sand and see what we have made. Okay, let's see what this has become. Be careful here. No. Look at that. That in the shot? Yes, it is. That came out absolutely brilliant. Let's dig this thing out. Oh, the scratch vent actually went to the wood. Oh, that means they work. This is actually pretty dang good. I did not expect it to be this good. Well, we're gonna have to see when grinding. Probably a bit of cleanup. Not as much cleanup as I had on the little mail snail. But that's because that's a very detailed item. This is not so much. I really shouldn't be doing this barehanded, actually. Always complaining when I see others do stuff like this. Now I'm doing it myself. So here it is. It actually came out way better than expected. Funny thing is that the sprue and the pouring basin altogether is probably heavier than the whole piece. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. There's some tiny sand inclusions and some dimples and whatnot, but it's a hammer, it's a tool. It's supposed to look used probably, you know, and I'm just glad this whole thing filled. I was kind of worried that the the copper would freeze like halfway, but apparently even the vents did their job. So very happy with that. Let's set up the workbench so I can cut all this stuff off and start with some sanding and stuff like that and polishing. Probably gonna polish the head and just give this a bit of a sanding. Wonder how this will turn out. And here we are at the end of this project. I put down a couple of hammers and one hammerhead I found. This is 150 grams. This is 200 grams. This is the one I used to make the mold and cast the copper hammer from. I have a 400 gram. This is actually found in a dumpster dive recently. Video will be out in a while for that probably. And this is one I bought myself at some point. This is 800 grams. And I'm thinking of actually getting a 1 kilogram version of this, and then just making a mold of the head and casting the head in different metals and see how that performs, and just getting a handle for each one of them. But that's for the future. For now, this is what the project ended up as. I stamped my name in there, I put the year in there, I give it a bit of a brush to make it slightly more apparent. And it's a nearly mirror finished, especially this side is very nice. So I'll be sending this off to Big Country Scrapper, also known as Redneck Stacker, I think is his main channel now. I'll put a link in the description to the little silver axe that he sent me. I have a short mail call video about that. and I'll put a link to his channel. Yeah, check him out. He does a lot of silver pouring, and he was planning on getting into copper pouring as well. Yeah, check him out. This will be going to him, and by the time it gets there, there will probably be a milk haul video for this. So look out for that as well. So hope you liked the video. I had a lot of fun making this. I learned some new stuff, and I'm looking forward to try to make more hammers, because yeah, this is quite fun. See you on the next one.